Hello friends, it's been a long time since we shared some gel testing data with you folks, but I got a whole bunch of tests primed and ready to deliver to you people. I want to kick off this whole Test and Tuesday thing with some myth breaking. I've wanted to test this myth for ages and I finally got round to it. The story goes that the OG 1 in 12 twist M16A1 produced more gnarlier wounds than the 1 in 7 twist M16A2 or other faster twist barrels because the bullet was less stable and yawed faster. There's a lot of nerd stuff to unpack in that one little sentence, so hang on and I'll see if I can explain.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
Or at least I'll do my best to make sure you understand without boring you. As you know, rifle barrels have spiral grooves cut in them to spin the bullet so it is stable in flight. The longer a bullet is, the faster it needs to spin in order to overcome its tendency to turn around and fly base first. The rate of twist is stated as a ratio between one revolution and the number of inches required to get that revolution, so a 1 in 12 twist rate means the bullet makes one complete revolution after it passes through 12 inches of barrel. The M16A2 was designed to accommodate the slightly longer M855 full metal jacket and much longer M856 tracer rounds. Therefore, it had a faster twist rate than the M16A1. The internet rumor is that because the faster twist stabilizes the bullet more, it will take more time to yaw when it strikes tissue given the same bullet and velocity. Hypothetically, that would mean the bullet goes deeper before fragmenting and it slows down more, resulting in less dramatic fragmentation and smaller stretch cavity. Put another way, the rumor is that faster twist causes less dramatic fragmentation and wounding when using the same projectile. Now, on the face of it, that sounds like it makes sense, but there's something about this theory which has always bugged me. I'll tell you what it is that triggered my skepticism after we take a look at the testing, but first, let's get to the pews. We went out to Cowtown Range, north of Phoenix, Arizona, to do our testing. If you like seeing stuff more than not seeing stuff, take a look at our sponsor, TNVC.com, your source for quality night vision gear to make you the bump in the night. We'll be using a Brownells Model 601 clone with a 20-inch 1 in 12 twist barrel and a Colt AR-15A2 with a 20-inch 1 in 7 twist barrel. Both are firing Lake City M193 55 grain full metal jacket. We used mixed head stamps to obtain the velocity measurements, but both gel shots were performed with rounds produced in the year 2000. The shots will be performed at approximately 10 feet into calibrated 10% ballistic gelatin. Let's get it on.
Alrighty, so it looks like we took a hard curve and came out the top of the block, but that's not really what we're after anyway, so don't care. At least that might just be one of the fragments. It looks like there's something big down here, but let's take a look at the main thing that we're interested in, which is this neck. So it starts to expand fairly gradually, but we see the biggest disruption right here. So that's where we're gonna measure to. It's 3.5 inches. We could also measure to the point where it looks like it just started to yaw. And that's a little more subjective because it widens fairly gradually, probably about an inch or so. But we're gonna call the neck 3.5 inches. And of course, like we always see with M193, big, huge temporary stretch cavity, lots of fragmentation. Let's get this thing flipped over and see what this guy is. Yeah, that's a jacket fragment. There's a bit of the core in there. You can see the cantilure here, that knurled section, that's the cantilure. So this kind of unpeeled from the bullet. A little bit of lead in there. And some more fragments here. And like I said, the main chunk came out the block here. I'll get a measurement of that. And exited at 14 inches. So again, M193 is a freaking bomb, and yes, it would be suitable for defense if that's what you got, and especially, you know, if all you can do is stack large amounts of something cheap. M193 will definitely fit the bill. Let's reset this with another block and shoot again with a 1-in-7 twist from the same barrel length and see if we see a difference in the neck length. Alrighty. Oh. Huh. It looks like Andrew was right. Imagine that. So obviously this is a sample size of 1 for both for both tests. It's certainly not conclusive despite my snark. But you can see the neck is about the same length. Again, it tapers gradually, but the main disruption starts about here, which is at 3.5 inches. And of course, like M193 always does, again, lots and lots of disruption, big monster temporary stretch cavity, tons of fragmentation all over the place. It's a big chunk right there. This is pretty cool. I just saw this. The nose of the bullet is laying right here. Come over here, Sean. So what often happens with M193 is the bullet shears apart at the cantilure, with the base going one direction and the nose going another direction. That's part of what makes it just gnarly. You can see how it kind of squished down and it's flat in that direction. Let's give or take roughly half of the bullet there. And we got another big fragment right here. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like the nose part probably is the part that came out the bottom, because I don't see anything that came out the end. So I also don't see where the rest of the core is. It could have gone any which way. Let's get some measurements on the rest of this. So this fragment got to 11.5 inches. This one, which is probably the nose, exited the block at 13 inches. Any way you slice it, that's at least adequate performance, but honestly, that's pretty respectable.
Okay, so the bottom line here is there is no notable difference in performance, particularly the neck length, which is the distance the bullet travels before significant disruption. What little discrepancy there is between the two shots can be attributed entirely to normal variations induced by small changes in velocity and angle of the dangle. There are nearly infinite factors which could all play a small role, and fragmenting ammo like this is somewhat chaotic, so we should expect to see small variations. But the big picture, both shots are basically the same and produced roughly 3.5-inch necks. So why doesn't the faster twist result in greater stability in gel? The short answer is gel is way more dense than air. The 1 in 7 twist rate is about 1.7 times faster than the 1 in 12 twist, but gel, being mostly water, is more than 800 times denser than air. So, although the faster twist can make a difference in how stable a projectile is in air, it just doesn't come close to making any measurable difference in water, ballistic gelatin, or tissue. Now, theoretically, there could be a tiny variation, but it is so small as to be virtually impossible to measure. Twist rate is indeed important in external ballistics, but I think we have conclusively proven it has no substantive influence on terminal effect. So, where did this myth come from? I think there's a real good chance it's just run-of-the-mill confusion combined with telephone effect. In the field, M16A1 rifles generally did tend to make uglier wounds than M16A2 rifles, but that's not because of their twist rate. The M193 ammo issued with A1 rifles tends to fragment more reliably and with a shorter neck than the M855, which was typically issued with A2 rifles. That's due to a whole host of complicated reasons, including projectile construction, velocity, gyroscopic precession, angle of attack, and fleet yaw, which are all beyond the scope of this video. But if you have a few hours to kill while your boss is out of the office, do some reading on fleet yaw. The other takeaway is that 55 grain full metal jacket in general, and M193 in particular, is actually pretty legit for defensive use. Is it ideal? No, of course not. There are better designed bullets which expand and or fragment immediately and more reliably, especially as velocity decreases. But M193 is decent all-purpose ammo which balances cost and performance. You can build an ammo fort out of it, train with it, and if you have to use it for defense, it will get her done. The stunning high speed you see in this video was captured using a Phantom V642 graciously provided by Aimed Research. If you are interested in renting a Phantom or other high-speed camera for your own ballistic or industrial projects, you can contact Aimed Research with the information down there in the doobly-doo. Now I hope you found this video informative, or maybe, at the very least, entertaining. If you would like to help us keep bringing you banger content like this, please support the folks who support us. Not only does TNVC.com give you night vision with that cool, refreshing, never bitter taste that goes down smooth, they also have mounts, lights, and all sorts of other gear to make you the bump in the night. And remember, kids, if you're not subscribed to the ARFCOM YouTube channel, you make puppies cry, and Captain America is very disappointed in you. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay in the know. I love you.
I picked these two babies up in a Midgard place called Texas. This one's called Des, and this one's called Troy. You put them together and they destroy.